my goodness, a Tuesday chat worked. Here I am live, and it actually worked out. I'm here. Let me get my screen. I'm so surprised by this. I'm not quite 100% prepared. But hello, welcome live. I have been trying to do some Tuesday chats, and YouTube has just not cooperated. But here we are live to talk about high school courses and high school credits. I will give a moment for YouTube to notify everyone. Excuse me. Right. Hopefully YouTube has notified people. And let's pop out the chat here. This is so exciting that it worked so easily today. I don't know why. I don't know what was different from previous Tuesdays to today, but I will warn everyone that it has been cutting off. So let's hope it doesn't do that. And we'll talk about high school. Let's go ahead and we will let the Instagram people know that we are on and we are live. And then I will go ahead and get started. All right. All right. Let's go ahead and talk about high school. So I am Mary Wilson, homeschooling mom of 4. 3 of my children have now graduated from my high school. So I have completed the requirements for homeschooling high school 3 times. And I am in the middle of doing that with my 4th child. Some of the big questions I get asked is how I figure out what classes I'm going to offer. Now, I would like to give a disclaimer that I am located, sorry, my bangs are really bugging me today. I am located in North Carolina. So the laws that I have to follow are specific to North Carolina when it comes to homeschooling. So you do want to be careful, and I'll try to pop in what is specific that I know is specific to North Carolina as we're talking, but you want to think about what is specific to your state. So when I'm planning high school graduation, high school courses, I have a lot of freedom in our state because I am treated as my own school. And so I kind of get to pick what the high school graduation requirements are. That said, I don't like to close any doors for my kids. One of my biggest goals is that my kids, I keep all the doors open to them for as long as possible until they are really certain they want to shut that door. Meaning, I would like to keep the door open to a 4-year university for each of them. My second child was 100% sure she was not going to college. And she felt that way all the way up until about her junior year of high school when I had her try some dual enrollment classes. She actually decided to go and get her AA. So she didn't end up needing the door to a 4-year college necessarily, though that door is still open to her because she has an AA now and she could transfer in. So that's one of my goals. So how I approach that is I look at college entrance requirements. So I'm in North Carolina. Financially, my kids are told we will pay tuition at a state college. We have excellent state colleges here, from Chapel Hill to NC State to UNCW, where my one daughter graduated from, App State. There's a wide variety. So I have them focus. I look at, the nice thing is there's a UNC system, and I can look at the requirements to get into college, like 4 years of mathematics, 4 years of English, 2 foreign language, though I think they've changed that recently. I need to double check it. Though I like my kids taking 2 years of foreign language anyway. It's fantastic. So I look at what they need to get into college. Whatever your situation is, look at your state universities, look at if you have a child aiming for a Harvard, a Yale, Princeton, an Ivy League school, look at the requirements. What makes a competitive application for that particular institution? So you might check out a variety of schools. You might look at some private, like here in North Carolina. I mean, they could look at Duke. They're going to need a ton of scholarship money, but they could certainly look there. So if you have a kid aiming for something like that, you want to look at the college requirements. If your state has actual graduation requirements, that you keep those in mind as well. I don't necessarily have any, but I also look at our high schools and I see the kids there are taking. And I'll ask friends who have kids in school, hey, what did your kids take freshman year? What did they read freshman year? What classes are they taking as electives to kind of hear what's going on? When my one daughter was considering a local high school, we actually visited, and man, I was taking notes. I was like, what are they teaching here? Because those are the transcripts that are going to be going to the same colleges my kids are applying for. So I want to see like what kinds of things are on these transcripts, what maths, what English is, all of that kind of stuff. So that is where I kind of get our high school coursework ideas. It's probably, sorry, my bags are just really throwing me today. It's probably what you would expect. 4 years of math, 3 years of history is required here. You could do four. 3 years of science. What am I missing? English, 4 years of English. Within that, you have a lot of freedom, and you can call it whatever you want. Um, 2 years of foreign language, I typically go for lots of electives. One PE, one fine art. I try to make sure to include health. So that's the kind of stuff I'm looking at. So once I've kind of laid that out, okay, we need 4 years of math. Math is always kind of simple. I mean, we still follow the traditional algebra, geometry, algebra 2, pre-calculus, calculus, beyond kind of sequence. History, we have to do, I think, a government class and a US history are both required. So anything else we do is kind of up to us. So we did, two of my boys did like an ancient cultures history. Of course, there's always world history. There is a world geography that you could put in there, that kind of thing you can play around with. Um, Again, go get ideas from your local high schools and look at your community college. Look at their math options, look at their history options, and pull from that. If your child's like, oh, that history looks really cool, all right, gather resources to make that happen. Of course, the next big question is I'm saying gather resources to make that happen is how do you know it's a credit? How do you know what makes a credit? Well, this depends on are you type A or type B? Because that is like a made up thing that they've decided that 180 days of school with this curriculum makes this credit. In general, I believe it's 120 to 180 hours is a credit, and a half a credit is like 60 to 90 hours. Do with that what you wish. If you want to keep track of hours and assign credits that way, you can do that. I'm more of a go with the flow. I feel like that's a credit worth. I feel like that's a half a credit worth. It's kind of where I stand with it. A lot of curriculum is defined for you. So if you complete like 80%, 70% of what they laid out in the curriculum as a school year, that's credit. It's kind of a no-brainer. So you kind of have to play with that. As we're talking about credits, another question I get asked, and again, in North Carolina, I can do this, and I'm making the transcript. Do you have to complete the entire credit in 1 year? Like for me to list art appreciation, all of my kids get a credit for art appreciation. I can list it in any year, whatever year I need filler, because we don't complete it in 1 year. We don't sit down and say, okay, this year we're going to do art appreciation. It is just part of our homeschool lifestyle. We go to art exhibits, whatever art exhibit comes to our local art museum, we go visit it. So my kids have seen Georgia O'Keeffe, they've seen MC Escher, they've seen artists that I had never heard of. They've seen so many over the years. When we travel, I took my boys on spring break to Clearwater Beach and there was a Salvador Dali museum. We went to the Salvador Dali museum. We watched a documentary on Salvador Dali before we went. So it's just part of our lifestyle. So I just give them a credit. Typically not freshman year because freshman year is laid out with English, math, history, science, foreign language, PE, and health. Like I'm kind of covering all the basics. So I usually save art appreciation to plug in there sophomore, junior, senior year. Oh, Lexi, I see that comment. Well, I'm glad it's helpful and I'm so glad it's working. So there's kind of the basics of designing courses. Some of the courses we've done outside the box. Okay, so there you go. The art appreciation. I have my boys do a drawing class online. I think they finished it over a year and a half, and I put it in for their freshman year of fine arts. So they had drawing, I think I called it Art Studio 1. Why did I call it Art Studio 1? Because that's what my drawing class was called in high school. So you that throws people. What do I call it? What do I call it? Well, call it whatever it was called by the person who wrote the curriculum, or come up with a name that you think best reflects what it is you did. So again, art appreciation. For other people, it might be art history if you've really dug into the historical aspects of the artists you're studying. So whatever reflects what you did. Another class I took in high school, and that's what inspired a credit I gave my oldest daughter, is I took a class called leadership. My second child is going to get this credit also. I think we may have called it leadership. Hey, it says I'm back. I wonder if it's sending out emails every time it has to reconnect. I don't think it is. Let's see. Okay, well, it's saying there's still people here, so it must still be working. I am sorry, y'all. Boy, has it been a royal pain. Okay, it only sent it out one time. Um, so we're kind of at the end of the chat. If you have any questions, you can leave them there. I was talking about grades. This is what another homeschool mom. I went to this high school seminar, and one of the moms got up there and was talking about how she determined percentages and how she didn't round up an 89.4. She made her kid have a B on their transcript. And I was like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I can do all this. And then the other mom got up and did this. And I was like, oh, I could do that. So I tell my kids, look, if you do all the work, you're participating in discussions with me, if we make it through all the things, I'm going to give you an A. If not, if we feel like, I mean, the only reason I would give a B, actually, one of my daughters, I gave a B, and I went back and changed it to an A 2 years later. I gave her a B in math because I said to her, we are communicating to a college, your skill levels, and let's just be honest, math isn't your thing. So let's do a B in geometry. You kind of struggle with some things, and then her junior year, she got an A in her college math class. And she did great in the math section of the SATs. And I was like, well, wow, I was really paranoid about something. I'm going back and I'm changing it on the official transcript to an A because everything else is reflecting the same thing. We don't want to see all A's in math and then SAT scores and college level math classes are all C's. That says something. So I'm always keeping in mind, what is the story we are telling about this particular child? So I any class that I have to grade is pretty relaxed. They do attend a lot of outside classes, and I do denote that on the transcript. There is a single asterisk if they are in a class that is graded by someone other than me. And there's a double asterisk if it is a community college class, which is usually pretty obvious by the name of the class as well. So I do put that on the transcript. It is one of the reasons I also really encourage all of my kids their junior year to start with some community college classes. Because let's be honest, the grades on the transcript, they are mom grades, a lot of them. And so I do like that an outside college level source has now graded my kids. It has looked different for all of them. I think actually next week I'm supposed to talk about dual enrollment, but we've kind of started going there. My oldest started with traditional English as her first class. My second child started with art, literally a drawing class. My third child started with a math and a game design and simulation class. And my fourth child is starting this fall with psychology because the other three have all taken it and they're like, it's easy. So I'm like, great, let's start there. So I do like to have at least a few of those, if not many, on the transcript because it just affirms the other grades. All right. Wow, this is working. There are people here. So yay. I'm hoping this video will save in its entirety for people who are watching the replay. It has gone in and out in the stream, which has been really frustrating. But before I say goodbye, we've covered how to come up with the class names, how to determine credits, um, a little bit on dual enrollment, grading. Is there any questions anyone watching has that I can go over for you? It looks like I'm not seeing any come in, and I'm assuming the chat is working because there is some chat from previous. So I think that's it. I think the biggest thing is you're going to be fine. They're going to be fine. It's going to work out. I will say, I do start their transcripts um, the summer after their freshman year, and I start filling it in. If you're really on top of it as a mom, you could start them early. But it's a good reminder to me to sit down and do my son's, update it all now that he has completed his sophomore year. I need to update it with everything we did, and then I usually will fill in what we're